what are the themes that you really like to tackle next for this story?
Well, that's top secret information.
What do you think evil is? I'll tell you what I think it is.
Thank you so much for having me here. I'm really excited to be talking to you right now. For me, one of the most terrifying things in the world is the idea of parenthood, and especially parenting a young girl that eventually will become a young woman. That's why I think that both in the original Exorcist and now in Believer, the biggest horrors is watching Chris and Tanner trying desperately to help their daughters, but to no avail. After 50 years, why do you think demonic possessions are a good vehicle to tackle anxieties about parenthood and especially for raising daughters?
In some way, it's like a metaphor of what happens to young people, young women, young men, when they go through puberty. They are all these changes and they're difficult to tackle as a parent. So I think it kind of works as a metaphor. But the scariest thing that we can all experience is when your child is in danger or your child is threatened. So when you're making a horror movie, if you tap into that, kind of nothing is more scary for an audience. So I think that's also why that exists in the movie. I don't know, do you have something to add to that?
I think it's just that primal thing. The unknown, I think. If you don't have a doctor you can turn to or a spiritual guide that can define what's going on, to me that's what makes it so scary, is some of the ambiguity of what's going on.
Completely. And now that you're talking about ambiguity, I think that the first Exorcist movie tackles the idea of skepticism, but now you're also exploring the idea of syncretism and how different cultures are really similar. Why do you think that theme was a really good addition to the saga?
It's a fresh way to tell an Exorcist story, because we're all at this point 50 years after the 1973 Friedkin movie, we're all very versed in certain tropes of possession films. And to me, I hadn't seen a movie that dealt with synchronized possession, and I hadn't seen a movie that dealt with interdenominational healing. And so the idea of bringing people together speaks to, I think, a contemporary value system of the audience too, because we all know people that believe differently than us. It's very rare these days that you are in an insular tribe without outside perspective, and so I wanted to play with those themes and make a portrait of community.
That's amazing, because I think that it invigorates the saga as a whole, and it presents a new way to watch demonic possessions and understand these types of movies. And this is the second time that you managed to actually bring back a classic and creating a new setting that resonates thematically with what we are living. How did you decide which movies are worth tackling into a new actual setting?
The Exorcist was always a movie I wanted to tackle, but I don't think we had the confidence to do it until we did Halloween. I thought David did such a good job reimagining Halloween in the 3 movies that we made together. And I think that certainly, for me, it gave me the confidence. It gave the rights holders of The Exorcist the confidence to trust us to make 3 movies with their amazing intellectual property. And so, you know, as someone who runs a scary movie company, obviously the dream is to work on reimagining the scariest movie ever made. So it's pretty exciting to have The Exorcist, Believer, and to be talking to you about it today.
And it's amazing the idea that this story can be expanded and really explored. So I would like to ask you, what are the themes that you really like to tackle next for this story?
Well, that's top secret information. We're right now, we have a roadmap of where we want to go, but I have to say, in both the research and the experience of production on this movie, we learned so much and asked so many questions, and there's so many different detours that I'm interested in researching, so it may evolve. So I don't want to say too much.
We'll see. We'll see.
Thank you so much for having me here talking to you right now. It was such a pleasure, and I wish all the best. Congratulations for the new movie.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.